All right, friends, I'm zoomed in, so that means I'm ready to get this party started. Today I'm going to try a couple of things from my haul, and it seems that most of you were very interested in the True Match from L'Oreal, the Super Blendable Foundation. I'm hoping that this color is okay for me. I went with N4. It was a little bit difficult, but let me tell you, they do have quite a few shades. There are 47 shades to this foundation. I bought mine at Ulta, and at the time that I purchased this, it was on sale for $11.19. It originally sells for $13.99. It gives you medium buildable coverage, and it also says that it has 6 pigments which will help to give you a very precise match to your skin. And as mentioned, it is a super blendable foundation. So we are going to get started with this. I also am going to try for the first time the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, but what I thought I would do is, because we want a true test of the foundation without primer, because some people don't like to wear primer, and to be honest with you, I don't really need a gripping primer, but I did want to use it because a lot of people compare it to the Milk. So we are going to see. So I'm going to do just one side of my face with this. This one also has 4% niacinamide in it. You know, I don't go by any of the skincare treatment in these types of products. I rely on only my skincare products. So first, I am going to fill in my pores a little bit, because the foundation cannot do anything if my pores are acting like idiots. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the T-zone right here, and down here, and just down on my chin. And I like to push and press, and that is the only place that I really need it. So, and I'll tell you, this one here I'm using is from NYX. It's a pore filler. It's not bad. It does its job. All right, so let's go ahead and put some of this e.l.f. primer. It comes in a nice little pump, and I am going to pump it out. That's what it looks like. And let's go ahead and put it all over this side of my face. And we'll see, does it make the foundation wear any differently on this side? It's not tacky. As it starts to set up, it gets a little bit tacky, you can see. But it's a gripping primer, so that's what you are looking for. But we don't want it to interfere with the application. So I'm just pressing it in, and I'm just going to give that a second to set up. Again, that is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer with 4% niacinamide. It's a pretty color. We love that. All right, so while this is setting up, before we go any further, I do have the Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the Flawless Filter, Hollywood Flawless Filter. And I have it in color 3 and 4. I also have color 4.5. I think she discontinued the 4, if I'm not mistaken. But don't hold me to that, because I could be dead wrong on it. Anyway, people are comparing the new e.l.f., and some are actually preferring the e.l.f. over the Charlotte Tilbury. So I bought the 3 and the 4. So let me get my little block here, and we are going to take a look at the consistency of them. This video might run a little long. I'm trying to shorten them up, but you guys get really kind of like, no, 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 don't shorten them up. All right, so this is the Charlotte Tilbury number 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and swatch it on my block for you, so you can see the consistency of this one. And then I'm going to take the 3, and this is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. Their wands are almost identical, except for the e.l.f. is much bigger than the Charlotte Tilbury. So that means you're going to get more product, so you actually want to go a little light-handed when you are applying this, because this one here gives you a smaller dough fit. You're not getting as much product. So we will now see how they are as far as color. They are not that far off. The Charlotte Tilbury, I would say, is a little warmer. I hope you can see this. Okay, let's get it up there, get my eyes out of the way. All right, so the smaller one is the Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the Halo. Much difference in color. So let me go ahead and put the Charlotte Tilbury right here on my hand so you can see it. And we'll go ahead and put the e.l.f. right next to it. Now when you spread them out, you can see a total difference in the product. The Charlotte Tilbury is sheerer. Okay, let me get my eyes out of the way. So here is the Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the Halo. So that's what I mean. You actually are going to be using a lot less of this product than you are the Charlotte Tilbury. But once I put it on my face, you'll be able to see. So now that they are on my hand, you can definitely see a difference in the color. The Halo from e.l.f. is much more, it's peachier with maybe a gold undertone, and the Charlotte Tilbury is a peach with a gold undertone. However, it is not as bright. You can see that. So let's see the 4 now compared to the Charlotte Tilbury 4. Here is the Charlotte Tilbury number 4. And then we will go with the number 4 in the e.l.f. So I'm just going to put a little bit less. There's definitely a difference in color for these two. So keep that in mind. Now here are the two colors side by side, with the Charlotte Tilbury being this one and the e.l.f. being this side. Let's see them on my hand. All right, the Charlotte Tilbury has a lot less color to it, and the number 4 in the e.l.f., although they're not claiming that the colors are the same, I just picked them up because those are the colors that I wore in Charlotte Tilbury. So there we have it. So if you have a tan, maybe one could be your winter shade and one could be your summer shade, if you're finishing up a bottle of the Charlotte Tilbury, if we think the Halo is worth it. We have to put it on yet and wear it, but that is the difference. So you can see one has a little more bronze tone to it and the other does not. So let's go ahead and get started now. So for my face, this is no longer tacky, as you can see. However, when I've run my hand across my face, this is smooth and it slides. This does have a gripping action. So we may love that. All right, so we are going to get started on the foundation. As I mentioned, it comes in 47 shades and it runs $13.99. So it is in a pump, and I'm going to go ahead and pump some of this on. I'm going to do 2 pumps to start with. This is the color N4. And that is the consistency. It has a little bit of run, not a lot. And I am going to use a sponge because that is my preferred method of applying my foundation over a brush, over my fingers. However, I do have foundations that I use brushes for, and I also have foundations that I will use my hands. You can use anything that you feel comfortable with, and I really think that's important. If you do venture out into a new foundation and you love using a sponge because you just love the way it applies most of your foundations, then that's what you want the newest foundation to work well with. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to take a dot of this because it's buildable. I'll start out with a small amount of it, just a few dots, and then I'm going to go in with my sponge. This is the Rephr sponge, not available yet. They did gift me this. When it is available, I will definitely let you know because she's a beauty. Okay, so I'm going to start on the inner part and just start tapping this in, just like I do with all of my other foundations. Now remember, this is a medium coverage, buildable. I'm going to tell you right up front, the gripping primer does nothing for your pores because I put the primer for my pores on my nose but I did not go out and I can see every single pore. So don't go into using the e.l.f. Power Grip thinking it's going to address your pores if you have a pore issue. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and continue on. Now I do have a few dark spots on my cheek area here that I am working on, but living in sunshine is a little difficult to tackle them and keep them away. All right, so that is a thin layer, and I'm definitely going to need more. I don't like a real heavy foundation, but I do like something that really does camouflage everything out. So I'm going to go in with another little dollop and place it on, and then I'll take just a little bit on the sponge, and I'm going to start on my nose area and just work this side. Okay, so this is a very, I would say it starts out very lightweight. It is building up now, but I may need to go in with a little bit more still. The color is okay. Hopefully it doesn't oxidize. If it oxidizes, it will probably not work for me. Okay, so the finish is very nice. I'm just going to take a little bit on the tip of my sponge here, and I'm going to go around the nose outer edge here, and then I'll go right up and back around. A little bit more. Okay, so that is really building up. Now I'm going to take just a little bit more of it here. This is where I have most of my spots, and I'm just going to go ahead and give them a quick cover up. And I'm going to go ahead and go over my eyelids with it because I don't want to use any concealer. I want to see how the foundation plays because many people do not, especially people over 45, find that they have a hard time wearing concealer. So I want to see how the foundation works as a concealer. So I'm just going to put a little bit on there. Get in there with that sponge right up to the lash line. And I'm going to go over the lid. All right, so here is a side-by-side, the foundation, no foundation. It has a very pretty finish. Remember, it starts out very lightweight. When they say medium, I would say lightweight because I am not a heavy foundation wearer. I like something that really just evens the skin tone up. And I did have to use a little bit more of this than I would some of my other foundations. Some of my other foundations, I only use one small pump. All right, so that is what it looks like. It feels very lightweight on the skin. I don't even know it's on there. To touch it, it's not greasy feeling, it's not tacky feeling. It really does have a nice feel to it. So what I'm going to do, because I know pores are a problem for many, I'm going to go ahead and extend this, a little bit of this pore primer right in this area where some of my pores have decided they are going to let me know how old they are. And with my face sagging, I think the pores are doing a downward swing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. And I already know that I need more, so I'm going to go ahead and put more on. For a neutral, this does have a very, very neutral undertone. I'm not picking up any pink in it, and yet there's not a lot of yellow, which is what I usually would wear. I would pick warm shades over neutral, but sometimes neutrals will get a little too pink for me. Up and around under the eye. And just putting that pore primer on has made a difference. So if you have pores that are causing a little bit of an issue for you, I will go ahead and put a pore primer underneath the foundation. Just go right over my lips with it because I have very blue lips. Okay, that is the foundation. So I turn the light down to almost nothing. I'm going to move on to the e.l.f. Let's see, what color do I want to use? I'm going to stay with the number 3 because the number 4, it has a little bit of a bronze undertone, so I don't want that showing through. So I'm going to go in with the number 3, and what I normally do with my Charlotte Tilbury is I put it on the back of my hand, and I have been using, you could use a sponge if you'd like, but I have been using this little brush from BK Beauty. It's the 109. And it's like a cat's paw. According to J.Lo's makeup artist, who named these a cat paw, you see how it's got that little angle? It's perfect, and it's a little bit smaller than the foundation brush. Here's the foundation brush, which is the 101. So it really allows you to place it exactly where you want. So I'm going to go in, and what I do is I just work it into the fibers of the brush a little bit. And then I'm going to tap it on the cheek, up and around my eye, right up onto my brow bone. And then I do a little sweep down. And then I'll do a little bit on the chin. Little here, and then I just go all around that again now that all the product is placed, and make sure I have it exactly where I want. Okay, so this is very, very pretty. It does not have any sparkles. It has a beautiful satin finish. I will say that it is a thicker formula than the Charlotte Tilbury. So you do need less of this product. So I'm just tapping it to make sure that it's all blended nicely. And let you take a look. Say that I think the difference from the Charlotte Tilbury to the e.l.f. is the consistency, and I think that you can actually see it on the skin a little bit more. And by see it, I mean that when I look in the mirror, I can see that I have something on my skin. Not the glow is better. I think the glow is equivalent. I really do. Okay, so that is the e.l.f. Halo Glow. I think it's very pretty. We shall see how it wears for the rest of the day. Another thing that I have for comparison is the Anastasia Brow Freeze to the e.l.f. Brow Lift. Now, the first time I bought the soap, which was wrong, this one here, if you hold them up, they look identical. Absolutely the same. This is the e.l.f. and this is the Anastasia. e.l.f. costs $6. So you apply it the exact same way. If you are, here is the Anastasia, so I will tap my finger in, and then the e.l.f. The e.l.f. feels just slightly different, a little tackier. Now, I have seen people do this differently. Some people take it on their finger and run it on their brow, and then they go through it. I did that, and I felt that it got on the skin too much, and it kind of even disturbed the foundation underneath. So I much prefer to use the brush. So today we are going to go in with the e.l.f. I have already demonstrated the Anastasia in another video. So we are going to go with the e.l.f. and I'm just going to tap it in, and I pretty much just pick the product up on the tip of the spoolie. Now I believe both of them have spoolies that you can purchase separately. I just buy these, a big pack of these from Amazon. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the e.l.f. onto my brows. Now, the e.l.f. seems thicker to me than the Anastasia, which means that, again, use a little less. but it is placing my brows wherever I am pushing them. And my roller's in the way. So I'm just going to get my brows to lay nicely, because my brows, I have said it before, are unruly. They're like Chewbacca, they really are. And that is what the e.l.f. looks like. I imagine, you know, I could do a separate video on side by side. Maybe do like, here's my $1,000 to my $100 face. If that's something you're interested in, so that you can see in a video how they perform against each other. Right now I can only give you my opinion, and then of course at the end of this video I will be able to see how they have all held up through the humidity, because we are back into summer in Florida. So it is very hot and humid here, and as you all know, I will take the girls out on a little walk a little bit after my video, so I will work up a little bit of a sweat, and the humidity will really affect my makeup, so you'll be able to see that. So I'm just finishing up this brow and we will be all done with that. So there is the brow, and I kind of did that backwards. Normally I put a little bit of powder on. I'm going to set a little bit with Laura Mercier powder, just a small amount. I don't really want to take away anything, but I'm going to be using some other powder products, so I have to just set it slightly. Just a small amount of powder, not a lot. And I'm just going to go over, and this is what I do when I'm wearing my Charlotte Tilbury or my Chanel Glow, and just this small amount of powder doesn't really affect the glow, so we don't have to worry about my glow going away. And I went over my brows, which will be a good test. Did they stay in place? Up under my eyes lightly to set the foundation. You can see I still have the glow of the e.l.f. Halo. Okay, so that's all the powder I'm going to do. So I did buy the e.l.f. Powder Contour Palette, and it has some powders in it, and it has a contour in it. And I liked the contour because it's not real orange. I have to be honest with you though, the older I get, the less I contour, but I know a lot of people like to still contour, so I'm going to go ahead and contour, and I'm just going to use the Rephr 04 brush. I'm going to go in and just touch the brush, you can see, and then I'm going to touch onto my mirror just to make sure that I have blended it well, and then I'm going to just place it in the back of my cheekbone, a little bit higher up. I'm not really sculpting out this area anymore, because this will help to lift. Okay, so there is the contour. You can see it's just a light application. So I'll do the same thing on the other side. So see, you can see exactly where I'm pushing it into. I'll really exaggerate it. You see where I'm pushing it into? Both sides, pushing it into there. But it's very, very important that you go back and soften that, because you do not want to have this. That does not look natural, nor does it look good, and it actually will let everybody know, look, she's old, she couldn't see to blend that in. So make sure you are blending that in. Take your powder brush, go over it, just soften that down. Now, some people like to get into the jawbone. If I'm doing anything in the jaw, it is just in the back part to sharpen my jaw back up. And again, I do the same thing. I go over with my powder brush, and I'm done. And let me tell you, that's not bad. That's not bad, okay? I'm not going to use anything else in there, but that's not bad. Okay, so I bought the blush palette as well, and I think today I'm going to go with the rosy tone. So I'm going to go ahead and go with this, but I thought it was nice because it has 2 peach shades and 2 pink shades. So I'll go with the brighter of the pinks. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the Rephr 19 brush. It's a little bit on the looser side, so I like that. I'm just going to go in and touch the tip in. I don't want to spread too much of that blush on there because I want to be able to control where I'm putting it. So you want just the tip to be going in, and you can see it picks up quite a bit. And this does have a little bit of shimmer to it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pounce that above that contour, higher up on the cheek because we're trying to lift. Okay. And same thing on the other side. The thing that I like to do is I'm going right over and I'm just blending it slightly, lightly over the brow bone. Of course you want to do your brows last, but I got kind of excited. And I have messed them up just slightly, so let me move them back before it dries too much. Okay, I did notice that after brushing them around like that, they do move a little bit. I think the Anastasia holds just a little bit better, but nothing that you need to break the bank to go and buy it. All right, so there's the blush. Really pretty. And of course, I feel as we age, we need a little bit of color. Now it does have a little bit of shimmer, but it doesn't really come out. I'm just gonna take another little tipful and let's just place it up a little bit here. Okay, I can see the glitter on that now. I wasn't really paying attention. So there are little chunks of glitter, so we must be careful. So I go in with my powder brush now and I just soften that so I have no harsh edges. I will say of the palette, the one I used is the only one that has a little bit of sparkle to it. The other three do not. Do my eyes, and I'm going to stick with these two palettes because I really don't want to get into too heavy an eye look. So I'm going to go in with the Rephr #1, my most favorite Rephr brush, and I'm going to press it into the contour powder. And I'm just going to work it in. I don't want to pick up too much because I just want to do a light sweep into the crease area and just a little bit down towards the outer lash line. And this just gives you a nice naturally blended look. It almost looks like, oh look, that's natural. And you'll see it just kind of gives you a little bit of definition, a more polished look. Like you meant to have eyeshadow on, but you don't. And then I'm going to go in. Let's try this lighter pink in here. And let's just put some of that right here on the lid, right to the inner, putting most of the color right here, and then just sweeping it along. And that just gives you a finished look to your eye. So I'll do the same thing on the other side and be right back. So there's the eye look. I went ahead and put a little bit more of the pink on the center. I'm going to go in with a Rephr 15 brush and just sweep away any harsh lines. And I do a little circular motion just to soften to the brow bone. And then you can go just across the lid slightly, holding the brush towards the end so you lose pressure. All right, so there you have it. That's it. Nothing more on the eyes. That's going to be it. Next, I'll go in with my Anastasia Brow Tinted Gel, which is a must for me. I clean the brush off really well, and I'm just going to sweep across my grays, or my whites, I should say. And this will help to also define the brows a little bit more, but it will also get rid of all of those white brows. Okay, so that is that. So now let's go ahead and put our lipstick on. And I shared quite a few new lipsticks in my haul video, but I have to tell you, I have been wearing this one, and every time I put it on, Lou says, that lipstick is so pretty. So I wanted to share it with all of you, and it's not brand new. It's an older color, but I think Revlon is reintroducing them. I don't know. Anyway, the lip combination that I have been wearing a lot and Lou has been loving, the lip liner is from Laura Mercier and it is Ruby. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. I'm sure that you can find a Ruby at any price point. So I'll go ahead and put the liner on and let you see it before I move forward. I'm going to go into my mirror here because my lip lines are becoming an issue. Well, they've been an issue, but they're really becoming an issue. So I'm going to go ahead and put my liner on and I'll be right back. So I have my lip liner on, but I wanted to show you how I put it on. I actually just edge my lips and then I fill in slightly. I thicken the line up and then I'm going to smear that color in over my lips. So you'll see how it kind of fades in as it gets to the inner part of my lips. And then I go ahead, and if you have a problem with your lip liner bleeding, go over with your powder brush, but don't put any more powder on it. Just just put a little bit of powder. Just set it a little bit even more. So now this is the Softsilver Red. And now this is what it looks like on its own. It's really pretty. It has a it has a gold undertone. And it's just really pretty, but it looks like foil almost, but it's not sickening or obnoxious. Some of those that have a foil look, it's like, what's going on with the lips? So that is the color on its own, but when I put it on over this ruby, and isn't that gorgeous? It has such a beautiful pearl look to it. $9.99 Revlon. Beautiful. And sometimes Ulta runs the buy one, get one 50% off because the Softsilver Rose I have right here. Let me just put it on and show you also. It is very pretty. For those of you who like something a little more pink, you see this one has more coral to it than this one does. This is more of a blue undertone pink, but they're beautiful. And of course, I'll wear this in a video at some point with the right liner. It can get a little too blue on me, so I have to be careful. But I think this one is just spectacular, just beautiful. All right, I'm going to go off camera and I am going to put my mascara on, take my hair down, and maybe put some clothes on. And I will be right back, my friends. So I am back with the finished look. The mascara is from Essence Lash Princess. I love this one. I have a few of the formulas and I like them all, but this one's brush to me is just perfection. So I love it, and I did curl my lashes with the Revlon lash curler. Okay, so just my first impression of the foundation. It really is nice. It has a beautiful look to it. I do think that you need a primer if you have pores like me, but it really does have a beautiful finish. It feels very lightweight. The e.l.f. Halo has a beautiful glow. Contour and blush I think went on really well, and of course I used it as the eyeshadow. The e.l.f. brow, so far so good. I do think that the Anastasia holds just slightly better, but in a couple of hours I'll come back and give you everything. I am wearing the newest collection from Dean Davidson. I think I say this with every collection, but this one blew me away. It comes in 2 stones. I share in my haul if you want to know more about this collection. But these earrings are spectacular. This is the Ocean Blue Stone, and you can use Tammy 25 to save 25% off. Look at this spectacular necklace. Just beautiful. And the ring, and it, like I said, it comes in 2 stones. I didn't get the orange stone. I have this, and I will say that this with coral makeup or peachier tone makeups is going to be spectacular. All right, so now I am going to record my actual haul video. I had to get ready first, and now I'm going to do the haul video, and then I'll probably have a little lunch with Louie and walk the dogs, and then be back to share my thoughts about the foundation and the other makeup. All right, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. It's been about 4.5 hours I've had this foundation on my face. I did want to mention something about this lipstick from L'Oreal that I said the color was not going to really be a perfect color for me. It has a strong floral scent to it, and I can almost taste it. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this formula, okay? It's not doable, and it's dry on the lips. It is a matte finish. So I just wanted to let you know, keep in mind, this does have a fragrance to it, okay? All right, so foundation. It's very, very comfortable on the skin, I must say. I am not feeling, I don't even feel like I have anything on my face. You know when you start to sweat or you're out in the humidity, you get that waxy feel to your foundation? It is not happening for this. So as far as appearance, putting the primer on, the grip primer, I'm not really seeing much of a difference. It did hold up well. It almost looks like skin. It looks like it just settles into the skin, and it's not too dry looking. It has just the right amount of glow. So overall, I think it's a very comfortable foundation, and you cannot feel it at all on your skin. There's no tackiness. You know how sometimes you can feel your foundation? That's not coming through at all. So it really is a nice. It did wear off around my mouth. I did eat, I sweat a little bit, and my nose has been, I think it's allergy season, so my nose is running a little bit, so it did come off the nose. So I can't say whether it just wore off the nose or it was from me wiping it. But it did, I can see where it wore off around, and on my chin it looks like there's nothing there now. But really, it's just, I don't know, it's very, very natural looking, and you know, when you touch it, it just feels like skin. I feel like I have absolutely nothing on my face at all. So the highlighter, it stayed, it's there all the way around. I can see where I placed the halo. So that's really, really nice. Just keep in mind that if you are someone who's used to the Charlotte Tilbury, the formulation is different. Obviously, they're different products, but the formulation is a little bit thicker, so go be more light-handed with the e.l.f. over the Charlotte Tilbury. Now, I have not tried mixing it in with my foundation, which I like to do, and sometimes when I don't want to wear foundation at all, I will go ahead and place it in all the areas I do over my foundation with my nose, sometimes the bridge of the nose, top of the lip, and the chin, just to give myself a glow, because I really do believe that as we age, and if you're a dry skin person, not necessarily an oily skin person, that glow is going to help us out. So I need to try it out that way as well. So I think the contour held up fine, the blush palette held up fine, and the lipsticks, I've worn the lipstick, it holds up all night through eating everything, but I'm not a person who wears my lipstick off. I don't know, for some reason, I've learned to eat without ingesting all of my lipstick. So foundation gets a good review from me. I think it's a wonderful foundation. I can't even say anything's wrong with it, except don't go into it thinking you're going to get that medium coverage. You do have to build it. It does go on very lightly, which I'm not complaining about that either, because some days I just want a quick once over and out the door I go. Many days I go out without anything. I actually think that as we age, less truly is more. It really is. And okay, so next up I think I'm going to go for the Revlon. So I'll be doing a video using this one, and I'm also going to start mixing this in with a few of my foundations to see how it works blended into the foundations. So for $13.99, I'd say it's a really decent foundation. It really, really is. And while I'm telling you about affordable ones, this Wet n Wild gives me Dior vibes, okay? So the Wet n Wild Foundation Dewy gives me Dior Glow vibes, all right? So lots of options for you. All right, my friends, so that is it. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love to have you as an ageless beauty, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Right next to it is the bell. It'll notify you of all the videos that I'm putting up. Until the next time, my friends, go out in the world, be lovable, and remember, it is okay to love your age. It is, I promise. All right, again, everything will be listed and linked below for you. Love you all. Bisous.